Gabby!
What the hell are you two doing? You wouldn't understand, Dad. You're not with it. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you. We're gonna keep on rocking forever. 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 Forever.
What the skibbity sigma?
You wowie.
If you have been on the internet at any point within the past several months, you most likely heard the term brain rot. While the term was originally used to describe a state of mental fogginess and cognitive decline that results from excessive screen engagement, it eventually got redefined on a grand scale and is now mostly used to describe low-valued internet content, with said content generally being either TikToks or YouTube Shorts. The redefined term for brain rot has now been a massive buzzword across the internet to the point where you could even argue that the people who nonchalantly throw out this word are also starting to develop brain rot themselves. The content that's considered to be brain rot consists of Gen Alpha memes like Skibbity Toilet, a chicken nugget singing Cotton Eye Joe, and a whole bunch of new slang terms like edging, gooning, riz, Ohio, gyat, sussy baka, what the sigma, among many others. Why I'm bringing this up is because I've just been so sick of seeing this word, which was originally used to describe a condition, get completely hijacked and used by many just to describe Gen Alpha humor. What I find more annoying about this word being excessively said across the web is that the people using this word are acting like low-valued content has never existed on the internet until Gen Alpha memes started popping up. In fact, low-valued content has always existed on the internet since its very existence. Examples of low-value content I remembered seeing on YouTube when I was younger include, but are not limited to, classic YouTube poops that mostly used material from Hotel Mario, Zelda CDI, and any of the Deke Mario and Sonic cartoons. Sparta remixes, which were videos that took clips from various cartoons like the aforementioned Deke cartoons, as well as other cartoons like SpongeBob SquarePants, and timed the scene so that they would be in tune to the "This is Sparta" remix. Laser collections, which feature clips of either original animated material or reused from existing cartoons that show a character firing their laser out of nowhere. Those low-effort animations that look like they were sloppily thrown together in MS Paint, then exported to Windows Movie Maker that show innocent children's characters like Elmo murdering other children's characters. Speakonia Barney Bunch videos, which I'm not going to go into detail because I don't think YouTube would like that. There were even MLG edits and Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life, which happened a little later after those things I've previously mentioned. Sure, you may have fond memories of those types of videos I have mentioned. Hell, I even remember watching old school YouTube poops, laser collections, Drew Pickles Goes 2 videos, secret missing episodes, and MLG edits for an extended period of time when I was younger. While I do have fond memories for those types of videos, I'm willing to take off the nostalgia goggles and realize that those types of videos I watched aren't much smarter than what today's kids are watching. Well, you could argue, well, some of those types of videos you mentioned weren't made for kids in mind. And while that may be true, that doesn't change the fact that all of those examples I previously mentioned feature child-friendly cartoon characters, and I even remember hearing other kids from school talking about those kinds of videos. So yeah, a lot of kids ended up seeing those types of videos in the end. What makes this even more ironic for those people who blindly label Gen Alpha humor as brain rot is that I remember several years back, people were making fun of boomer humor because the punchline was almost always, "New thing bad, kids these days are stupid," or "I hate my wife." Well, now it feels like I'm seeing those same exact people turn into the very people they were mocking many moons ago. Sure, they're not having a cynical view of marriage, or at least I hope not, but they're just blindly labeling any current humor trend as brain rot. What I'm trying to say is, you're all turning into boomers without even noticing it. While some of you may get defensive and argue that those MLG edits or classic YouTube poops are nowhere as near as brain rotting as the current content that's popular among Gen Alpha. To which I respond with, have you ever had a parent or older relative come across you watching those types of videos and telling you that it was one of the dumbest things that they have ever seen? Well, fast forward to today, and there's a good chance today's parents are probably saying those same words to Gen Alpha kids watching those kinds of videos. And now, this just left me with yet another question. Is humanity just doomed to constantly regard the current trend as stupid? Well, let's find out. After doing some quick research, there's actually some deep psychological evidence as for why older generations will always hate on the newer ones. In fact, a Vox article from 2019 correctly predicted that these OK boomer kids are going to get older and start complaining about the youth of the future. Their reasoning for this prediction is that human memory doesn't work like a videotape. Instead, memory is more like a video editor working on a millisecond deadline. When we call up a memory, we have to piece it back together from disparate pieces of information in our minds, some of which ends up in our recollection is the truth. But there's a laziness to our recollections. In reconstructing our memories, our brains often grab the easiest bit of information to recall. One result of this memory system is a bias called presentism. In trying to remember something, we take pieces of the present and fold them into our recollections of the past. Scientists at the University of California's Department of Psychological and Brain Sciences created a new scientific term called the "kids these days effect," when used to describe the tendency of adults to disparage the youth of today. Researchers John Protzko and Jonathan Schooler designed 5 studies of over 3,000 American adults aged 31 to 55 to several questionnaires and tests confirmed the existence of the "kids these days" effect. The results of the "kids these days" effect occurs because people tend to perceive others as lacking in areas where they usually excel. For example, an adult with above average intelligence may consistently perceive others as less intelligent, regardless if they are young or an adult. Another factor behind the "kids these days" effect is memory bias, which is the tendency to recall memories that align with the current mental state. What this means is that people who excel in one area are often inclined to project that trait onto their past selves and peers. For example, they believe that because I read a lot now, everyone liked to read back in my day. The brain lacks information about the peers of the past. Therefore, it instead projects the current self to the past self and onto past others. If that makes any sense. In fact, John Protzko ran what is called the marshmallow test on the current generation of children, where children must wait to get 2 preferred treats. If they cannot wait, they only get 1. Protzko then compared the results to the past 50 years of data on the marshmallow test of delay of gratification, where it was shockingly found that kids these days are better able to delay gratification than they were in the past. Even the experts who were asked about this experiment doubted the current youth, where in a poll of 260 experts in cognitive development, a whopping 84% of them believe that kids these days are getting worse or are no different. Sure, this experiment was ran in 2013 and was before the days of TikTok and YouTube Shorts, but the point still stands. To sum everything up, the content that kids are watching these days are not any dumber compared to anything we watched on YouTube when we were younger. And it's just a common psychological trend for the older generations to look down on the lifestyles of the younger generations. While I too think that Skibbity Toilet and Chicken Nugget singing Cotton Eye Joe are stupid, I don't go out of my way to complain about them on the internet. While some will be pointing out to that video I made about Amazing Digital Circus content farms and try to point me as a hypocrite for backpedaling on my statement, I'll just say that those Amazing Digital Circus content farms and other Elsagate videos like that are genuinely disturbing, unlike most Gen Alpha memes, which are just stupid, harmless humor.
Did you disrespect Skibidi Toilet?
Yes, I did. But you don't understand.
Why? Why did you do this?
He just has L-Riz.
He's a Sigma.
You haven't been showing him looks maxing edits
Look,
again.
I'm turning him into a Sigma. You act like that's a bad thing.
Turning him into a Sigma isn't bad, Bob. But risking his nuts exploding, that's very bad.
I'm 2 days into tuning, and I'm 3 ages behind. All my friends, they call me Sigma, but I'm on my mewing grind.
As for why the whole brain rot thing is becoming an issue just now, I have a theory. The Millennials and early Gen Zers, aka the first generation of people who are digital natives, are now old enough to witness a massive cultural shift in internet humor, and because of this, are starting to attack the newer trend of Generation Alpha humor because it's nothing like the internet humor they witnessed when they were younger. If the boomers and Gen Xers were digital natives, we'd probably be getting a lot of videos back in the past that complain about how mind-numbingly stupid classic YouTube poops and laser collections were. That and TikTok's terrible structure of constantly feeding people endless content and having them hooked for hours on end. And after saying all that I've said, I'm fairly confident that the Gen Alpha of today will look down on the humor of future generations and have nostalgic feelings for Skibidi Toilet. Calling it right now. Anyways, that's all I have for today, and I'll see you next time.